Well, now I need to work off that pazzissava. A good job that Corfu is a great place for walkers. There's a 220-kilometre path called the Corfu Trail that zigzags through the heart of the island from the north to the south. It takes hikers into landscapes untouched by mass tourism. In the north of the island, it's brought me to one of Corfu's best-kept secrets, the abandoned village of Old Perithia. Hidden in the valley of Corfu's highest mountain, this Venetian wonder is a 14th-century time capsule.
Julia!
Hello, Mark.
Hey, great to see you.
Oh, good to see you as well.
Mark is a Brit who runs a B&B in the village with his wife Saskia. They're the driving force behind the restoration of the Old Perithia.
Saskia and I kind of happened upon it about 12 years ago, and we came up here, not really with any intention of doing anything. We just read about a ghost village and wanted to have a look.
So this essentially was an abandoned village.
Yeah.
Why?
The tourist trade kind of started up in the 50s, 60s. And until then, there wasn't tourism. People didn't want to be by the sea. And at that time, the sort of old culture was that you gave land by the sea to the daughters because it was worthless. It was salty, we couldn't grow anything there. The villages would be for the sons. And, of course, that all flipped round when tourism started.
So they just walked away?
So they just walked away. And then nature pretty much took over the whole village.
During the 14th century, Corfu was constantly being raided, so the Venetians built Perithia as a hidden village, where you could see but not be seen.
Because of the pirate attacks on the island...
Pirate, like real-life pirates?
Real-life pirates, Turks, Saracens type of thing.
Yes.
People who owned the houses would have chambers underneath where they could hide, like this, and they would either put their possessions or themselves down here.
This was the hiding spot.
And it made it safe, yeah.
In its heyday, this village was home to around 1,500 people. But that's hard to imagine looking at the buildings today.
I've got rid of form renovating old properties, but I have to say, I haven't taken on anything quite as challenging as this.
When Mark arrived, there were only 2 permanent residents. Now, there are up to 20 people who call Perithia home.
If you look back here, you start to see how big the village is.
You do.
How
and actually, a lot of those buildings don't look derelict.
They look so bad.
Of the original 130 houses, a third of them are now restored or in the process. Properties sell here anywhere from €100,000 to €1 million. But it's not just the houses that have been given a new lease of life.
This church has only recently been restored and reopened, and it had its first baptism after 60 years, just last year.
How old is the church?
I think it dates from about 1300, because the village records go back to 1357. And all of these frescoes were covered in lime. So it was a painstaking process to pick everything off the walls here.
Aren't they beautiful?
It's quite special.
It is very special.
The rejuvenation of the village has even begun to entice back some of the original residents.
Kalispera, I'm good. How are you?
Vasilis.
Nice to meet you.
Vasily is the local beekeeper. He's recently returned to his ancestral home, selling his honey to passing tourists.
How are the bees today? Are they feeling happy and calm?
The bees, you're happy, they're happy, everybody's happy. If you love your job, you make a lot of honey.
Vasily spends his days tending to his 7 million bees, who live in the 90-year-old pastel blue hives he inherited from his grandfather.
Oh, yeah, wow. Look at this.
You see the queen?
The queen, yeah.
Isn't that just magical?
Astonishing, huh?
That is the queen
Yeah,
bee.
this is the queen bee.
She likes us, the queen bee. She's hanging around.
There was a 1 in 80,000 chance of seeing the queen bee. Amazing.
I grow up here with my father. In this place, we have the bees from my grandfather, my father, me, and we continue with my kids.
How old are your children?
8 and 5.
Amazing.
Yes.
So you're handing down this...
Yes, they work
to your
with me.
generation.
Yeah. We continue, I think.
Yeah.
What a life, what an existence. It's beautiful.
Perithia was built as the village that couldn't be seen. But now, thanks to the love of these guys, it's finally getting the audience it deserves.
What a special magical place. And ironically, it was tourism that drove the original settlers away from this village, made it a ghost town. They were chasing the tourist dollar, heading to the coast, heading to the sea. And now it's tourism that brought everybody back and breathed new life into this place.
With a heavy heart, I'm saying my goodbyes to Perithia. But the south of the island beckons, and another majestic Venetian import.